Hey everyone, your girl is here. So coming to you guys today now. It is now officially later on December 27th after I have, had my video up for today. I have just a real little mini headache. I don't know why. Probably the average itch is coming up very soon. It's just sometimes it's off, sometimes it's in really weird waves. Like sometimes it ends at just like 3 days right beforehand. Sometimes it's 2 days here and then another day, or 2 days from the 20th to the 27th, and then it's rather frequent until, probably like day 3. But anyhow, guys, this is not where I talk about my menstrual cycles. This is in my PMS. This is just where I talk about the girl last seen up to the last 3 chapters. So it was definitely a crazy chapter. It was another spicy chapter where she, was in, kind of like a dark place, but she went to go get some pills and that didn't work. So she went to Sugar again, right? And she, went ahead and went to his place, and then, she talked about, his specific, like, setup that he had. It's like, well, I wonder if he makes 6K a week, how does he have all this kind of junkier place? It's kind of even worse than mine. So she decides to use sex to get him to give her pills. So he obviously drugs her a little bit, and it gets into a little spicy details, guys. Anyhow, so then she wakes up, and she could hear that somebody was getting a shower. That's all that she remembers, and that's pretty much the end of the chapter then. And then, oh, I'm sorry, and also, the Sugar had mentioned that, hey, I thought your old place was kind of broken into, right? And that was kind of very scary, or a very big cue into the next chapter, which then the next chapter, then she wakes up and she knows that everything is beeping, and she knows that she's in a hospital. She knows she overdosed. Sean is there. She wakes up and tries to get away, but she knows she's handcuffed. So Sean is there. He tries to have a conversation with her, and then, 2 officers come in with a nurse, and they say you're under arrest for, in involvement with Olivia Shaw, something with drugs, like intent to distribute or something like that. And that was pretty much it. And then they handcuff her, they take her to the interrogation room. They see that it's, she talks to Sean with another girl, and she sees that they have her computer that was stolen. And then she gets into this thing where she's like, well, I mean, I tried to report it to you, but, you guys probably wouldn't have cared anyhow. There's break-ins all the time, and it's not a rich community or white community, so you guys really don't care. And then they said that, I'm surprised they didn't charge her with this. This is probably later on in the video for like a twist, but they had found like child porn. Yeah, they found child porn on her computer as well. So she eventually admits to, that being her computer, but those pictures aren't hers. And then she, says, well, I didn't report it, but I do know other people, because then she played, well, you might be, guilty or something, right? So she says, no, like, I actually have reliable sources that can say, it was broken into and they know about it. So she's trying to, like, cover herself and show that those pictures that were on there weren't on there. And, that's when she also shared about Sugar, mentioning that. She's like, well, I mean, he's the only possible person that could have done that, and then probably put those on, and then tried to, like, stage me for it. So, yeah, that was pretty much the ending of that. So the next chapter, then. So, it's definitely a really, really, really good book. So, the next chapter is pretty long here, so it's only 7:40, so I'll do some more YouTube, and then I'll read another chapter, do an update on that, and I will include the spiciness and just, other, big details here at the end, just in case anybody wants to see the whole kit and caboodle and how the author, decides to say things, because my synopsis is obviously a little bit different than anybody's synopsis. So, yeah, and then I'll come on and I'll do the last 2 chapters in 20 pages with you guys. And then this video, again, in itself, will just be a video by itself. It might be the last video segment added of the year. And then, guys, you guys know what's after that. Doing it all night, all summer. Doing it the way I wanna. Oh my god, guys, I'm so excited. Alright, guys, so thanks again for watching. And I'll talk to you guys later.
Hey everyone, your girl is here. So it's now 1:49, so the game should be probably right around the second quarter, so this will be a perfect time to just make my video here with you guys. So I wanted to come on and share my chapter reviews, and then we're gonna read the last 2 chapters together. So long story short, she was looking at all of the different photos that were on the laptop, and she realizes that almost every single one of them matches and replicates, I guess is the right word there, matches a girl who has been missing over the past 15 years. And she's like, I wonder, kind of like who who they were smiling at on the other end of the camera. Could it have been the person who kidnapped me? So that was definitely maybe another twist that will come up here in the final 2 chapters, but I'm very curious to see. So then, she just kind of like fades off into like a sleep, and a couple hours later, she's like, I don't know what time it is even, but they come in and somebody bailed her out anonymously. And then she's like, oh, okay. So she got her stuff, and then she walked, she was walking then, obviously she looked for her cigarettes, got her knife, it was still there, her phone and all of that. So she starts walking out of town, and she go ahead and it said that she could walk all damn night as long as she got there, and she was going to finish what the kidnapper started. So she said that all she has to do is go to like a lake, that's across like a really long bridge, cut some wire that people aren't supposed to go under, but go under anyhow, and finish what, had started. But then everything kind of changes because her phone rings, and she lets it go to voicemail, and then it rings again. And she figures out that it's Jacqueline herself. So, obviously the mom, right? So, but then, and this is kind of strange too, because then the dad shows up, because she's a little bit hesitant, to say where the hell she is and all of this, but eventually she does. So the dad is hesitant, and the dad comes over then, and he takes her to, all these winding roads where they go to a house that was made for Olivia Shaw. And then, obviously, the girl who was, abducted, right, that they're trying to figure out, because there's obviously a whole bunch of correlations and similarities with Lane. So Lane and, him get in, he talks briefly, about this is like where we had a place for her and everything. She only wanted to be here like 1 or 2 days. So then she goes in and she changes her clothes, and she comes out, and they kind of have like a lunch, just a real little brief drink. And then Tom, which is obviously the husband of Jacqueline Shaw. So Tom then says, about like, Lane asks, where is, your wife? And Jacqueline. And he's like, well, she's been on medications and she's asleep now. So I kind of thought that was kind of gonna come up, be like, she like maybe he did something now to Jacqueline, you know. But anyhow, and maybe he's the ultimate kidnapper. I don't know, guys. We're gonna know soon enough. But anyhow, so you know, he has explains that to her, and she's like, okay, well, I guess maybe we could go and like we can talk to her in person, you know, because I don't really want to describe that stuff to you, right? Like, it's been really, really rough since her disappearance. So, as they're getting ready to leave, he pushes her down the stairs, and um, then obviously there's like he kicks her a couple times, and she's talked about like um, blood and vomit just all through her, you know, nasal, um, respiratory, you know, kind of issues, respiratory tract. There we go, not issues, tract. So then, um, it said that she fell down another flight of stairs. So I don't know. I'm having a hard time really picturing because I just kind of think of like a cabin, you know, out in the woods, like green evergreen trees, and then you know you have just like a wider, you know, set of stairs that's maybe 7 or 8. So I didn't quite understand. I'll have to maybe just go back through and just read the very ending, the last 2 pages again. But regardless, then, you know, he says, "What in the hell did you do to her, you cunt?" And I was like, "Oh my god, like this is really intense." Because she had even said during, you know, the computer being found, it's like, did I do this, you know, and just kind of like wipe my memory, not remember it? Like, it's very crazy, guys. So, obviously, uh, Lane's mom is now dead, you know, which was obviously a big main character. And, you know, Sugar has, you know, kind of set her up as well. And now, you know, maybe Sugar has something in this, you know, and then obviously her best friend, you know, from work, hasn't really, you know, said much, you know, this time around. So yeah, it's definitely wild, guys. I'm very curious to kind of see how everything kind of ends up, you know, and all these cool plot twists and all of this. So it said that she woke up and she noticed the voice, and it was like, oh my god. So it's definitely crazy, guys. Very, very, very exciting to see kind of, you know, how everything pans out. And then, yeah. So anyhow, it is now 156 with 10,200. So perfect timing to have 12,000 by probably halftime. And then just boom, right? I'm all ready to go ahead and, well, again, I'm talking like I'm talking today. So yeah, guys, sorry. I have this issue trying to make videos for the future. Anyhow, so thanks again for watching, and now let's go ahead and let's read the final 2 chapters, guys. Oh my god. Everyone, your girl is here. It's now New Year's Eve. So I'm definitely very excited, very happy. So I'm going to go ahead and read my final 2 chapters with you guys. And then I'll work on getting this video produced. And then obviously in my video today, I never shared, you know, the cool or the crazy things that came from the videos last night. So I'll have to, you know, definitely make sure I take care of that. So, alright guys, so you guys already know the synopsis because of the other chapters. So those are all back here. So now, we just have 19 to, what, 39? 19 to 40. So we only got 21 pages, guys. Here we go. This is crazy. Alright, here we go. I roll over onto my hands and knees, but the room won't stop spinning. Every breath is a fight. Through my blurring vision, I recognize a figure crouched next to the wall. Jacqueline. She's hugging her knees, and her eyes are dark and enormous in her pale face. She murmurs something, and at first I can't understand what she's saying. I'm so sorry, she sobs. Her hands clasp over her mouth. I notice that her other wrist is cuffed to the heater. I'm so sorry, Lane. He had a gun to my head. My mind fractures. All of the pieces of my short, miserable life spun in front of my eyes, finally, for the first time, falling into place. Another wave of dizziness sweeps over me. My arms tremble, my elbow gives out, and I topple forward. My cheekbone hits the floor, and I choke on a cry of pain. He grabs my shoulder in a vice grip and flips me over onto my back. A little more bile bubbles on at my lips. You sick bastard, I try to say, but all that comes out is a hoarse rasp. Where is she? He yells. Spittle flies from his lips. I know you two bitches hid her somewhere. Well, one of you is going to talk. Underneath the sheer terror, underneath the flood of memories I struggled for 10 years to forget, underneath the realization that I probably won't leave this room alive. Relief fills my chest. Manic and giddy, he doesn't have her. The monster doesn't have Olivia. He doesn't know where she is. And he won't. I'll do everything I can to make sure of that. And if it costs me my life, that is the only thing I've ever been 100% sure of. I turn my head, and Jacqueline's terrified face swims into view. Leave her alone, she rasped. She had nothing to do with this. Nothing to do with it. She's the one who started this whole mess. His face is twisted with rage, his eyes bulging. He's completely out of his mind, so utterly lost in his delusions, convinced of his absolute right, that he can't hear how insane he sounds. He leans over me, and deep down, a part of me withers in terror. He grabs my shoulder and pulls me up. My head lolls, and I barely feel my face, and my arms and legs begin to tingle. He gives me a shake. Answer me, you good-for-nothing junkie bitch. I want to spit in his face and tell him to go love himself. But my mouth refuses to form the words. His face blurs and turns into a leather mask. Primal terror shrieks within me, but when I blink, it turns back into Tom Shaw. He collects himself, an easy smile floating on his lips. At least the tranquilizer I gave you seems to be working. It is hard to find. I wanted one, but one that would keep you awake and aware of everything, but unable to do anything about it. And by the time it wears off, trust me, you'll be ready to talk to me. He lets go. I crumble like a puppet with its strings cut. Pain shoots through my ankle and up my leg when it twists under me. An animal-like moan escapes from my lips. He crouches over me, yanking away the robe. Icy damp air hits my skin, making me crawl. He's straddling me. His weight pins me to the floor, crushing my rib cage, squeezing the air out of my lungs, drop by drop. Out of sheer instinct, the old but resilient instinct of a frightened little girl, I withdraw inside myself as far as possible into my frail body, into the deepest recesses of my mind. But I'm not screaming. Instead, a cold resolve fills me, even as I struggle to draw a breath. Even when he grinds on top of me, even when leans close, and I hear as much as I feel his wet breath on the side of my face. He pants into my ear, and images flash before my eyes. Dark, cold basement floor, rough, under my naked body, drabbing my skin, the bite of rope on the wrist and on my wrist and ankles. I push the images away, but the crowd back in. Every moment of these months resurrected from the depths of my memory. He gropes from my breast, squeezes and twists my nipple. In my head, I cry out, "You know, you're still attractive," he whispers into my ear. You've still got it. A little old for me, but you still look like a child. I could manage one last time for you. What do you think? I sputter and choke, but my sides and hands are working. I'm squeezing my fingers into a fist, a quarter of an inch at a time. They feel like lifeless, unwieldy sausages, but I force them. Little by little, my fingertips start to tingle. I clench my fist, releasing the pain of my nails cutting into my palms. He starts to fumble with his trousers. I hear the clink of a belt buckle and the hiss of a zipper. And when his image fades from my vision, I realize I've managed to close my eyes. I force them open, force myself to look into his face. My tongue feels thick in my mouth, numb, and it takes me several times to get a word out. You won't find her. He stops fumbling for a minute. His face comes into sharp focus. His smile widens, showing off those perfect teeth. Oh, I will. Whether you tell me or not, I will find her, and then it will only be worse for you. You're going to kill me anyway, I say. It feels like I'm walking through a mouthful of cotton. I should have killed you back then. Saved myself all the trouble. My eyes burn and I can't breathe, but this time it has nothing to do with the drug, nothing to do with him slowly crushing the life out of me. I don't realize I'm speaking until I hear a croak in my voice. Why? Why? Why didn't I kill you? Why indeed? I don't know. You were pregnant with my child, he shrugs again and sits up, whipping the sweat from his forehead. His face has gone blotchy. And that's when it clicks in my head. The last piece of the puzzle that is my life falls into place. And the big picture is so sad and pathetic, so simple, a 3-year-old could have figured it out. I can't believe it took me 10 years, 10 fucking years, for it to finally download. My life had meant nothing to him. I was less than an animal. He would have killed me like one steps on a bug, with little thought and even less remorse. The only thing that mattered to him was agglomeration of cells buried in my flat child's stomach, cells that were part him. Those cells made the difference between life and death. Let her go or kill her, strangle her, smother her or slit her throat. But those little cells mattered. So he decided to let me go and take my child when she was born. I turn my head and see Jacqueline cowering at the edge of my vision, pressing herself into the wall, and I finally get the rest of it. Don't tell him, I say, and my voice cuts through loud and clear. Don't tell him a freaking thing. I can't get his hands on her. He can't, okay? I only catch a glimpse of her face twisted in terror before his fist connects with my cheekbone. My head snaps to the side and my vision explodes with black notes against blinding white. The weight lifts off me. For a brief moment, I can draw air into my lungs. Not nearly long enough. Next thing I know, his boots connect with my side, and pain lances my entire being. I curl up into a ball on the floor, blind, deaf, and senseless. When my head starts to clear, I hear his steps thundering away, finally away from me. I pry my right eye open. The left is swelling shut. He's leaning over Jacqueline, and she starts to scream her head off. He grabs her arm. The handcuffed jangles against the pipe of the heater. A tiny voice deep down is screaming at me to do something, but my limbs won't obey. My muscles weak and useless. I roll over and fumble with my boot. My fingers are still numb, but I tug out the laces with all the agility I can muster. Jacqueline is still screaming. I hear the dull thwack of fist against flesh and shudder with my whole body. Don't look up. Don't look. I won't help her. I finally ease my phone out, clutching it with clumsy hands. It's running out of battery, but there's enough. There has to be. Please let there be enough. Jacqueline lets out a shriek that slices across my eardrums, and I can't help it. My head snaps up, and my gaze meets hers. Her eyes are filled with pain and terror, locked on me, and on the phone in my hands. I only have time to give a frantic shake of my head. Look away, please look away. Don't let on. I'm too late. He spins around, zeroing in on the phone. I mash the emergency call button, but don't have enough time to see if it works. He's upon me in the blink of an eye, kicking the phone out of my hands. It goes flying and crashes into the wall and skitters across the floor, far out of reach. The next kick catches the side of my head, and the world explodes. I can't see anything. I hear nothing, but the deafening ringing my ears and my mouth fills with blood that drips down my throat, choking me. For a minute, I'm sure he broke something crucial, driven a shard of skull into my brain, and this is just agony. Then the cold floor hits my cheek. I slowly come back to my body, panting for air, spitting blood, but before the pain can fade, he's pulling me up. I cough blood all over his face. He's yelling something, but I can't make out the words. Bitch, cut, cunt, stupid whore, something like that. He shakes me. At the edge of my hearing, his voice is calm now, deadly. You wanted to die so bad. Well, you're about to get your wish. He throws me against the wall, and more pain explodes in the back of my head, in my side. A cracked rib. Through red fog, I see him reach behind his waist and come back with a gun. Its black eye points at me level with my face. In the background, Jacqueline screams at the top of her lungs, and just for a minute he falters. He half turns, his gaze slipping from me to her. I don't know where I found the stamina to move. I kick out with all the strength I can muster, slamming my boot into his shin. The gunshot explodes inches from my ear. He howls, falters, pinwheeling his arms, and topless backward. His head smacks against the concrete with a sickening thwack, and the gun flies out of his hands and clatters to the floor. My right ear is filled with high-pitched ringing, and something wet runs out the side of my jaw. Disoriented, I slide to the floor and reach into my other boot, where I find my smooth handle of my knife. Just as he starts to scramble up, I flick the knife open and lunge for him. I'm still weak from that drug that I've ingested, but he's hurt too. Blood gushes from a cut at his hairline, steaming down his face and flooding his eyes. Oh my gosh, guys, this is intense. He swings at me and misses. His eyes widen when I loom over him. My wish? I changed my mind, asshole. I'm not going to die. I'm going to kill you. And I'll dance on your grave. Oh my gosh. And I drive my knife in just above his collarbone where the veins are. At first I'm terrified. Did I stab hard enough? Was the blade sharp enough? What if I screwed up? Blew my only chance. But when I pull the knife out with a sickening sucking sound, red wells up, so much red pulsing out of the little burst like a fountain. More of it in the corners of his mouth, turning to red foam. His hands scratch at the floor uselessly until he presses his palm over the wound, but it's not enough to staunch the flood. Jacqueline is still screaming. I push myself up to my feet, looking around for my phone until I see it, or what's left of it. I can use it to call. I can't use it to call anyone anymore. I have to get out of here. I have to get upstairs. I have to call for help. He flails, trying to crawl, and grabs for my ankle with his free hand. But even in my drugged out, pain stated, I sidestep him with ease. A steep stairwell leads up back into the house. I start to climb, but can't keep going after 2 steps. I get on my hands and knees like an animal or a child and crawl up, towards the dark rectangle of the door. Jacqueline's screams fill my ears. I want to yell at her that I'm going to get help, that I'm not leaving her down here, but I don't have the strength to speak. The inside of my cheek is swelling up quickly. I feel around my tongue where he chipped my teeth. My nose might be broken too because I can't breathe, and all I smell is blood. Only a little distance left to the door. I'm almost there. The gun blast explodes at the same time as an unseen force slams me forward. My face connects with the stairs, and my vision explodes with red. What? I can't see out of one eye. My cheekbone feels like it is cracked into two, and another persistent ache is working its way into my shoulder blade like a bee sting. The stinging spreads, turns into fire. Something hot and sticky runs down my back. Oh fuck. It drips down my leg. I look at and see a shiny black drops on the stairs, almost invisible against the dark paint. I want to raise my hand and feel my back, but it won't move. My arm hangs to my side, a limp piece of meat, and the numbness is spreading. I turn and limps, crawling forward into a pool of blood. He's clutching the gun, but it slips from his fingers with a clatter. He grabs for it, pulls it towards him, but doesn't quite make it. The gun goes limp, twitches, then stops moving. I turn back to the door, only 2 or 3 steps away, and realize I'll never get there. My eyes burn with tears. I won't get to cry. Jacqueline is still screaming, but now it's just not that inhumane wailing sound. It's words, my name, over and over and over like a stuck record. I want to tell her I'm okay. I want to tell her that he's dead, that it's over. But when I open my mouth, only a rasp comes out, so I do the only thing I can. I push myself forward and up, forward and up. 1 step, 2. I press against the floor with my good arm, and the jaws open, and I silently howl of pain. Forward and up. I reach the door, push myself up, and manage to get on my knees and feel along the rough wooden surface until I find the handle. Turn it, and it swings open with a smooth whisper of oiled hinges. The light of the hallway is enough to blind me, and I collapse onto the carpet. The softness, most comfortable thing in the world. All I want to do is stay here, curl up and rest. Maybe even close my eyes, but I can't. Not yet. There are things I have to do. I need to find the phone. Where's the phone? I crawl on my hands and knees, ignoring the pain that shoots through my arm with every moment. The door, the front door. Tears pour from one good eye and drip down my face, mingling with the blood. The front door. In the windows, lights flashing, blue and red, blue and red. I know what they mean, but I can't remember. My mind hurts. My front door, it's not locked. He thought no one would bother us. I get it open and topple onto the porch. It's raining in a thick, solid wall of water that whispers against my skin, washing off blood and tears of grime. And lying, sprawled on the floor at the door of my kidnapper, of the father of my child, I start to laugh. I won't make it out of here. I spent the last 10 years looking for death, and just when I stopped looking, death found me. But at least she will be okay. She is a little girl, and she has a name, Olivia. Why have I never thought of her like that? Olivia will be okay. Olivia is hidden someplace safe and she'll be fine. I barely hear the steps through the rain, steps hurrying down the neat gravel path, splashing through the puddles. A shadow falls over me, blocking out the red-blue lights. The shadow has a face. It's a face I know well. I've thought about this face on many lonely nights, nights of pain and despair and hopelessness. But when it was my only ray of light to lead me out, maybe he's here to take me to heaven or hell or wherever the hell I belong. He's saying my name. His hands are brushing my hair out of my face, the blood and rainwater, and he won't stop saying it. Lane, 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 please stay with me. Lane, please don't go. I don't care if I go or not. There are 3 things I need him to say first. I can't go until I do. First, I love you. You are a manipulative bastard, but I love you anyway. It's stronger than me. Second, it's Ella. Ella freaking Santos. I may not like it, but I'm dying with a fake name. No way. And the third one is I'm sorry. But I don't have time to say one of these things. Darkness pulls me in, rasps me in a cocoon of painless bliss, swallows me up, and I am no more. Oh my gosh, guys. Hey guys, so I officially just got, helped my grandma to take just a couple things out to the garage for her. I didn't quite understand where she grabbed the phone though, because of, she was naked obviously, and it was in her robe. So it's like, how was the knife? You know what I'm saying? Because it didn't say that, it didn't really specify if the robe, like he threw the robe somewhere. So technically it could have still been in her, or on her somewhere. I don't know. I didn't quite understand where she grabbed the knife. I'll have to try to read back through that. Same with, the last chapter, with when he kicked them down. So, yeah, we'll have to figure it out. I'll have to reread that. I didn't quite understand. But yeah, it was definitely intense, guys. Alright, guys, so here we go. Final chapter. Alright. Alright. So I wake up, not in heaven or in hell. I'm still not convinced I believe in that stuff. There's heaven and hell on earth in abundance, I should know. It's intimately familiar with, I'm intimately familiar with them both. And this isn't it. This is a hospital. I stay in that hospital for many weeks. It's not like the other hospitals I've been in. Here I have my own room with a big window with no bars and a view of a garden that I discovered when I was well enough to get out of bed. A little garden with lilacs and a fountain in the middle. The lilacs are blooming right now. Or if I get the nurse to open the window, the aroma wafts into the room. And it's almost enough to mask the stink of disinfectant and medicine. Almost, this is a hospital after all, no matter how private or fancy or expensive. Besides the daily physiotherapy that's supposed to make my left arm work normal again, I'm doing addiction therapy. I shit you not, that's what they call rehab here. When I get well enough to understand, they told me that I was like when they brought me in. Besides my injuries, I was severely hydrated and had vital organs were this close to failing because of all the drugs. And Tom Shaw didn't do this to me. I did it to myself. I've been lying that I wanted sobering. It occurred to me that maybe, just maybe, I was tarnished, but not by Tom Shaw, by what Tom Shaw did to me. Now or 13 years ago, by what I did to myself over these 10 years. I thought finding my captor would redeem me, but I was wrong. The only person who could make me shine again was me. I haven't seen Sean, not since that night, since the blood and the rain and the red blue lights. He wasn't visited. He hasn't visited in just like 10 years ago. I can't blame him. Jacqueline, however, comes to see me every day. She's unofficially adopted me, I think. She brings me treats that the hospital won't allow, Twizzlers and soda, and romance novels that I pretend to read out of politeness. It's Jacqueline who's paying for the whole thing. For the fancy private clinic, for the addiction therapist who treat me with kid gloves. Sean has made me sugar crack and admit I don't give him the laptop. Oh, I knew I read that wrong. He made sugar crack and admit that I didn't give him the laptop. A man did. A man who closely met the description of Tom Shaw. Without wasting another minute, he sent cop cars to the Shaw's residence, and when he realized they were gone, he rushed to their summer house. Olivia was safe this whole time, hidden away with Jacqueline's mother. Janquita was the one who helped Olivia get away. Before Olivia was born, when Janquita was her age, Tom Shaw abused her too. When Jacqueline told she was suspected he was molesting Olivia, Janquita broke down and told her everything. They put together the plan. Jacqueline didn't dare publicly accuse Tom. She was afraid of what he would do to her and her daughter and sister. She never guessed. She told me, crying, that it would turn out like this. I never knew now exactly how much my mother knew. Whether she merely had her suspicions or whether she realized she merely had her suspicions, or she recognized Tom Shaw, just like I never know the real person. She pulled the trigger, was genuinely sorry for what she had done, or simply afraid of the consequences. I'm trying to think it was the former. It's something I need to learn to believe. A week or so after I got transferred to the addiction therapy facilities, Jacqueline bought Olivia a visit. I wasn't exactly brimming with enthusiasm at the idea, but it went okay. The moment she walked in with a lost and somewhat bewildered look on her face, I knew it was going to be okay. Jacqueline hadn't told her exactly I was who exactly I was yet. Hadn't explained the whole sordid story to her. That's a lot for a little girl to understand. And she'd already been through enough. But her mother won't be able to shelter her from it forever. Too much has already been leaked to the press. So much that Jacqueline is considering moving someplace quiet for a couple of years, until Olivia is old enough to understand. I looked into her serious, pale gray eyes and knew that her life wasn't going to be easy. Her father was a monster, her biological mother his victim. He already had done things to her no child should have to endure. For all the private schools and nannies and toys, for all the things money can buy, her childhood was not what it should have been. And knowing it, I looked her in the eyes and finally stopped resenting her after all these years. I know it's selfish. I know it's shitty of me, but what can I do? I'm just a normal person, and like most people, I'm flawed. It's not, if nothing else, my addiction therapy finally ingrained that into my stubborn head. But that day, for the first time, I didn't regret giving birth to her, not even a little bit. Olivia looked at me silently. Her lips pressed together, surely puzzling things out in her head already. She ended dumb. This much her teachers were right about. She ignored Jacqueline when she was prompted to come closer and say hi. She just stood there as a cautious distance and studied me with those mistrustful eyes. I don't know what to say to her until the end, when it's almost time to leave. I got up and crossed the distance between us. The girl was going to be tall. I could already tell. I only had to lean down a bit to be at her eye level, and she didn't back away. That's when I finally found my words. Don't let anyone tell you that you're tarnished, I said. Ever. Fuck anyone who thinks this. You shine, you got this, you shine. I can only hope that's enough through everything that lies ahead. I'm released in early June. Jacqueline is supposed to come get me at noon. In the meantime, I pick my I pack my manager belongings into a duffel bag with the hospital logo, one they gave me at reception. That's technically all I have to my name. Talk about starting fresh. In the last weeks, I've developed a habit of getting up early because the nurses woke me, and later because I want to wake up by myself. So I spend the long hours of the morning hanging out in the central garden, walking down narrow twisting paths among groves of lilacs. I sit on a bench across from the fountain, my legs curled up underneath me, and watch the water sparkle in the rare sunshine. I'm almost going to miss this place. Almost. Absorbed in the hypnotizing sound of water, I don't immediately hear the footfalls of the gravel behind me. At first, I think it's one of those nurses and don't turn around. The steps stop a few feet behind me, but whoever it is doesn't speak. Maybe it's just curiosity or old instincts rearing their head, but I turn to glance over my shoulder, lowering my feet to the ground, ready to bolt just in case. My heart soars and a lump forms in my throat. Sean is standing behind the bench, just a few feet away. He squints in the sun, his hands in his pocket. He's wearing old jeans and a t-shirt, but no, not his work clothes. What? What are you doing here? I stammer. Jacqueline. She'll show up when she said she would. I just wanted to see you first. He raises his eyebrows questioningly. I finally clue in and nod at the bench next to me, inviting him to sit, even though deep down I'm not sure it's a good idea. The thought of him being so close. You can't offer a former addict to sit next to a fix and expect her to not be tempted. Maybe he understands that because he stops a few steps away. I feel my face flush. I'm sorry, I murmur. I was supposed to call you for my program. I'm supposed to apologize for everyone I've hurt. His answer is a soft, sad chuckle. You? You haven't hurt anyone. People have hurt you. Exactly. They made me understand it was just an excuse. My reason for being shitty to everyone and not being sorry. I haven't exactly been an angel either, he points out. You saved me twice. You saved yourself. It was just there. I should have figured it out sooner. I should have called you, warned you. It may have never happened. And we might never have caught him, I say. All these months later, talking about it still hurts. Every word echoes the pain in my head, in my back, in my arms, in every rib Shaw ever had cracked. He sighs. I don't know how to thank you. You have no idea. Then don't, I say. I think of Olivia's serious face, of the tears in Jacqueline's eyes when I spoke to her. Don't thank me. I don't want credit for that or anything else. You have your life back now, he remarks. Yeah, I say grimly, not much of a life. I basically have to start from scratch. A lot of people would kill to be able to start from scratch. I get up from the bench, glancing down at my hands, and realize a rush of self consciousness that I'm not wearing long sleeves or armbands or bracelets. I haven't in weeks, and until now, I seem to have forgotten about the scars altogether. They're still there, of course, raised pink welts, an itch thick circling my wrist, a lifetime souvenir of Tom Shaw, along with the ragged star-shaped scar on my leg, shoulder blade, and a chipped tooth, ribs that ache when it rains, which means basically all the time. I'm not going to stop there. What's the use? Everyone has scars, and they're not on the outside. When I glance up, he's looking at my wrist too. He lowers his chin, embarrassed. Are you changing your name back to Elos Santos now? I shrug. I don't know, to be honest. I'm kind of used to Lane. The silence wears on. I listen to him breathe, like it might give me some kind of clue as to what he's thinking, what he's feeling. Are you are you okay? He finally asked. Do you need help? You're released soon. Do you have a place to go? Yes, I say quickly. Jacqueline, she's arranged everything for me. For as long as I need it, until I get back on my feet. For a while, he's quiet. Good, he finally says. Good. You don't need to worry about me anymore, I say. My turn to be generous. My turn to let him go. He no longer needs to save me from here on. I'll save myself. I'll always worry about you, he says. Really, I say, and my voice suddenly turns hoarse. Then you could have visited. I did for the first week and a half you were unconscious. I came by every day and stayed for hours. My heart clenches. It hurts so much I can't stand still. I want to double over and weep. It hurts more than being shot. No one told me, I whisper. Did you ask? No, I didn't. I just assumed because of everything that happened between us, because I always think the worst of people. And then I talk to Jacqueline every day. She still hates me, but she was understanding. She gave me updates. You're walking again. Your arm was starting to move again. You went into the garden by yourself. You were being moved to the other wing. Everything. You could have just shown up. I don't think. I don't think it would be good for you. I wanted to let you have your life. So why are you not here now? He smiled. His smile is full of sadness. I want to ask you for forgiveness. You? You didn't do anything wrong. Yes, I did, and I know it. You have every right to hate me. A sigh escapes through my clenched teeth, and I think I might start crying. I don't hate you. I could never. I fucked up your life. You save it, and now I'm not talking about the Shaws or 10 years ago. Does that mean you forgive me? Of course I forgive you. The words well up at the tip of my tongue like a blood in a cut, and I can't stop them. You are my only light for years, and you will have other lights now, many of them. I hope so. You will, I promise. This time I know that you're just not hollow words of comfort. He means them. He starts to leave and I watch him go, surprisingly calm. As he turns, as he's about to turn a corner and vanish from sight, he turns around, gives me a short wave of his hand. I wave back. The sun blinds me and I can't see his face clearly, but I know he's smiling. Thank you for being in my life. I can move on now. I'm free. Nothing about this will be easy, but then again, nothing worth having ever is. I'm in an unfamiliar place, starting my life over in many ways. I have a family now, people who care about me, and it's more than I ever have hoped for. So that's something. There are things I know I still struggle with for a long time, maybe for the rest of my life. Certain scars aren't going anywhere. But right here, right now, in this moment, I am shining. What? Guys, that was like. What? That was like a cliffhanger, guys. That was. What? Guys, that is crazy. Oh my. No way. Oh my god, guys, that is. Wow, guys, that is crazy. It was almost like decades, you know? Oh my god. And then now she's finally getting to, live everything. It's like a brand new start. That's crazy. And it was so crazy that Tom Shaw was the one. I bet you whenever they were fighting, I bet you that was probably the cue right then and there that it was Tom Shaw that was the kidnapper. Whenever he was fighting with his wife, remember? I bet you that's how you knew that it was Tom. Wow, guys, that's crazy though. And it almost like reminds you of like those movies and stuff where a person like comes back, and it's almost like their own almost like everything is like uh you know done, so to say, right? Like the night agent, how that all ended, like he finally gets to talk to Madam President, right? And then he gets on his plane and he's shining, right? Going into overseas missions, right? Like he got upgraded, right? From the night agent phone call. So yeah, I mean, that was just crazy, guys. And then also there in the end, whenever um, we figured out where Olivia was being kept, that also reminded me of the night agent as well. Whenever Kurt had given his daughter to Allie, or no, I'm sorry, Kurt already had his daughter with Allie. Remember? Yeah, yeah. And then Jane had came in and visited as well. So that was really cool. That reminded me of that there. Um, I definitely, you know, but really in essence, it's pretty much the same, like as Blind Spot, I would have liked for more elaborate stuff, maybe in that last chapter from the previous chapter where she basically killed, right, Tom, you know, um, but yeah, I mean, it was a really, really, you know, crazy ending. I don't know about, Jacqueline, where she's at. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm gonna have to, I don't know, just think more on what that was. Take that in for just a little bit more. Maybe read the whole chapter again tomorrow. You guys can obviously tell with my nose and everything, and I had to go get some water at one point. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So I might honestly try to reread that last chapter tomorrow whenever I'm maybe not as tired, and I sleep better tonight. But guys, that was a really, really, really good book, you know. Yeah, but I still just don't quite understand the ending, because it's like, she doesn't really go anywhere, but she gets a new life, I don't know, guys. I'll have to again look into it. But thanks again for watching this, and anything that I think of whenever I'm maybe not as tired and maybe better able to understand, I will go ahead and, you know, include that stuff then. So tomorrow we'll go, obviously, do my bathroom together, and then on Thursday we'll do my New Year's goals for the New Year's, and we'll do my how I did with my goals this year. Because guys, in just 2 days, this year is over. So anyhow, guys, I'll go ahead here and get going. I'll talk to you guys later.
Sam? Sam? You saved me. No. You saved me.